Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for not letting my stepdad move in? I'm 24, male, and I own my house. I bought it on my own after saving every single cent I had made since I was 15, aside from what I bought for food, obviously. My stepdad married my mom when I was 9 and he always treated me like a burden to the household, even though I worked and provided more than he did, not with money, but I helped my mom with all house chores including cooking, because her husband never lifted a finger, claiming it was the woman's job. Because of this, he would call me feminine all the time, or introduce me as, "This is my wife's daughter, oops, I mean son," and was overall just a crap bag. So like I said, I bought a house as soon as I possibly could, 8 months ago. It's a fixer-upper and I got it under a foreclosure contract, so I only paid $17,000. But it's a 2-bedroom and actually really nice, so no complaints. Anyways, my mom fell and broke her hip 3 months ago, which made her lose her job. Where my stepdad is still practically a mooch, he refuses to work more than 12 hours a week, claiming it isn't worth it. They lost the house. My mom was the main breadwinner, $70,000 a year. So, mom calls me and asks if she and her husband could move in with me temporarily. I told her I would think about it, and told her to come check the place out first, because it does need work. The floors are old and the wood is coming up in spots, and she is still recovering from her hip, and I wanted to make sure it was suitable for her. Now at this point, I hadn't really thought of saying no, and this is with knowing my stepdad was coming too. I just didn't know if it would work with her broken hip. So, they come and check it out, and my stepdad is being the most ignorant I have ever witnessed. Saying things like, "You know your mom can't walk on this. Why the hell didn't you replace it yet?" After about 45 minutes of comments like this, I turned to my mom and said, "Mom, you can absolutely move in, but your husband will have to stay elsewhere because I will be damned I'm subjected to his ignorance anymore." My mom nodded, said she understood completely, and then turned to him and said, "Why must you ruin everything?" and walks out. He goes off on me about how I'm ungrateful for everything he's done for me, which is nothing by the way. Now I'm getting texts from my mom asking if I will reconsider because they can't find anywhere else, and I have stood through and said no. She can move in, but he can't. She begs, saying it's temporary. I still say no. He can find somewhere else to go because I'm not going to be stressed and belittled under my own roof. Well, I'm now getting phone calls from my stepfather's family, his brother and bio son, saying that I'm a freaking prick and never appreciated my stepdad's efforts, and that my stepdad deserves better than me. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's always amazing that the people who treat others like crap, act so surprised when it comes back to bite them on the butt. Absolutely 100% not the a-hole, but he sure is. Stand your ground, welcome your mom but tell her a-hole of a husband to find his own place to stay. Sounds like stepdad has a family, so they can put him up. OP is so not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Stay firm that your mom is welcome anytime. Message back to stepfather's family that they are right and he deserves better than you, so you'll relay the message to him that they have a place for him to stay. Well done on buying a house and doing the work on it. You'll always appreciate keeping a good relationship with your mom. She knows her husband is a jerk already. Block stepdad and his family after telling them that they're welcome to give him the home he deserves. Not the a-hole, and the next time your stepfather's family contact you, ask why they can't take him in. It's so horrible of them not to appreciate all the things he does for them. Not the a-hole. Why isn't his bio son taking him in if he deserves so much better? However, consider this, he would be under your roof and beholden to your rules, and my friend, it is a sweet way of mirroring it back whilst looking like the good guy. Well, if you're working and your mom is ill, then who will do all those womanly chores in lieu of rent? Stepfather wouldn't respect any rules of OPs. He'd just continue to be a jerk. Not the a-hole. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my entire family to leave over a comment my brother made about my late wife? I lost my wife suddenly 7 months ago. She was 26 and she was my everything. She was my soulmate and the one who knew how to comfort me and make me smile. She suffered from last-stage kidney failure and was on dialysis for a year. I took time off work to focus on her health, and do my best to help her get better. We were constantly dealing with the same issues: anemia, arrhythmia, chest pains. It was exhausting for her and for me as well. I decided we should no longer wait. I was required to run tests, and I was a match and was able to give her my kidney, and everything went well with me, but she took longer time to recover. 4 months later, She passed away after being admitted to the hospital for 3 days. I have no idea what went wrong. I'm still confused because she started to feel fine, then this happened all of a sudden. My family have been there for me. But my brother used to make snarky backhanded comments about the situation. Sometimes making my wife upset with his behavior. I've talked to him about it, but he'd act like he did nothing wrong and say that I'm taking my anger out on him. Last week, my family were visiting along with my brother. They came and made dinner and said they wanted me to have some company and family presents. I didn't mind at all. But soon as we sat at the dinner table, my brother brought up my wife asking when I was going to take down the pictures I have on my walls. I ignored him. I didn't want to ruin dinner. He then went on about my recent health issue, I'm anemic, and said that my department won't have me back when I'm looking like this. I really hoped he'd just stop, but he sarcastically said he wished that I could at least get my kidney back since my wife passed away eventually. I was livid. I got up from my seat. I started cussing him out and yelling at him. He acted confused and blamed me for lashing out. That's when I told him to leave my house. My mom and dad got involved and said I needed to stop hurting my brother and lashing out at him, because he didn't mean it that way. They defended him, telling me I was trying to ruin dinner. I told my mom to leave too if she agreed to what her son said. She berated me and tried to get my dad to do the same. I told them all to leave my house immediately. My dad said I had no right to take my frustration out on them and treat them disrespectfully. I was tired of arguing, so I insisted they leave. They left eventually. But I kept getting calls from my mom saying I overreacted, and that this is how my brother is, so I should have ignored him, but I overreacted and ruined dinner. Bro is gaslighting and parents are enablers. Not the a-hole, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Exactly. I tell mom and dad, just because you raised an a-hole and continue to allow him to be one, doesn't mean I have to stand by and allow it. If you're going to defend his actions, I can't have you in my life. Mom and dad are essentially choosing one son over the other, because they're allowing brother to be a jackass and OP is supposed to just sit back and take it because that's how he is. Doesn't matter how much pain OP is going through, brother apparently comes first. That's just being bad parents. I love the use of, he didn't mean it like that. Oh? Then please explain, what did he mean when he said, it's too bad you can't get your kidney back from your dead wife? Please be specific. Yeah, and it's also obvious he would just escalate what he was saying, until he got a reaction out of his brother. Not the a-hole. Your entire family sucks. I'm very sorry for the loss of your wife. Not the a-hole. I kept getting calls from my mom saying I overreacted, and that this is how my brother is, so I should have ignored him. So because he's a jerk without any filter, you're supposed to take it? That's not right. So because he's a jerk without any filter, you're supposed to take it? No, it's because she raised him to be the jerk without a filter, that she wants her grieving son to be the one that gives in rather than belatedly try to correct her poor parenting. Not the a-hole. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother-in-law out of my daughter's birthday? My daughter, 9, lost her mother and her brother 13 months ago. My wife was 5 months pregnant and was involved in a car accident. It was so devastating, but I got therapy for me and my daughter and she's doing better than before. My wife's family are fine. My brother-in-law, Kevin, and I have some issues. We've never been close. But he started visiting more often after my wife's death. My daughter loves him and she loves to do activities with his kids. He came to me after the funeral offering to help. He gave me a list of things he wanted to handle. My daughter's doctor's appointments / school matters / wanting permission to take her with his kids anytime anyplace / said his wife wanted to enroll her in a specific sport club and wanted her to change to his daughter's school. He asked my daughter to call her cousins, his daughters, her sisters, and I heard her several times and I was shocked. Kevin told his daughters to call my daughter with a name I never heard before. And when I demanded he stops, and after I corrected the girls several times, he went to my in-laws saying he was trying to help but I'm being cruel by keeping him away. They said he's feeling heartfelt sorrow for his niece and wants to help. I tried to avoid him and set boundaries. Last week on my daughter's birthday, my in-laws came and Kevin and his wife came too. They complained about not hosting the party at their house. I didn't see them bringing any gifts, which was strange. Everyone started taking photos. My daughter was enjoying the day and smiling all the time. When it was time for a gift opening, Kevin's wife opened his phone gallery and started showing my daughter a really nice decorated bedroom with a Disney theme. My daughter admired it, but I was confused. I thought they wanted to decorate her room. But Kevin said that they turned their guest room into a bedroom. and decorated it so that it's ready whenever my daughter visits them. He went on about wanting my daughter to be allowed to come over and that she'll love her new room more than the old one. I got mad and told him to stop. I refused and told him no, my daughter loves her room. He argued that I clearly don't have my daughter's best interest at heart. Called me neglectful and talked about how I'm being unreasonable and controlling. Even said that the room will be for when I get busy with my new wife, and dumped my own daughter on him. I was stunned. I told him to leave once my daughter started crying. My in-laws told me to calm down, but I wasn't the one yelling. He then left with his family. In-laws sided with him, said I had no right to be treating him like that, and that their granddaughter isn't an object that I control, and Kevin did nothing wrong even though he called me a bad parent in front of my daughter. They said it was his wife's idea, but I don't buy it. They want me to apologize and talk it out, but I don't want to. Especially after what he said, and they were fine with it and said I had no right to keep them from my daughter. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You may need a lawyer? A restraining order and surveillance cameras? This is nuts. The different name thing really got me. He's trying to steal your child. He's definitely trying to steal your child. You should change your locks and cut contact for a bit at least. Honestly, this whole thing freaks me out, the fact the whole family is on crazy Kevin's side? I'd be getting a lawyer and taking the lawyer's advice, and then moving the hell out of town and cutting all contact. Telling no one where OP moves to. What the hell? Not the a-hole, you need a lawyer, man. He's planning to take your kid. Agree. There is something brewing. I'm also slightly concerned with the level of interest he has in your daughter. Not the a-hole, this sounds like your brother-in-law is trying to get custody of your daughter. Honestly, I might just be paranoid, but I would maybe keep an eye on that. It definitely sounds like he's posturing for custody. Protect yourself and your daughter. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my housemate with his kid? I have rented en suite in a converted plantation-like house for 3 years. The house is set up with 3 apartments, bedroom plus bathroom plus small living room. Downstairs is a kitchen, with 3 lockable fridges plus locking cabinets labeled with apartment numbers. We share a dining room, guest bathroom, and kitchen. I have 2 neighbors, apartment 1A, Judy and Mark, 40s couple, and apartment 2B, Cody, 29 male. I found out 2 weeks ago that Cody had gotten full custody of his son, Dean, who is 6 male. Cody knocked on my door to introduce me to Dean. The kid is really nice, but he seems like a lot. The apartments are pretty well soundproofed, but I can hear him running around outside if I open the windows by the yard. I didn't have a problem with it. Dean seems polite and well behaved. However, every time I come down to make food, Dean will come into the kitchen and watch me cook. He asks me if he can have some of the food. When I tell him no, he will say, "But I am hungry." I have told him that he needs to talk to his dad. Dean will go into his apartment and Cody will come out, annoyed, to make him something. Cody has asked me a few times, "Can you just make him a pancake?" I have told Cody that this makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to feed his kid. I also buy my food with a meal plan in mind, and the ingredients are kind of expensive. So I have said, "Sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing that. You should buy pancake mix." There have been a few times where Dean will knock on my door saying he is bored. I tell him he needs to find his dad, and not knock because I am working. I have told him, knock only if there is someone hurt or in danger. If you are hurt, knock. But as nice as you are, I am not your mom, so please find your dad. This came to a head the other day when my boyfriend came by with pizza and snacks for an early Valentine's Day. Dean was in the living room watching TV, saw us with pizza and got excited. He got really upset when my boyfriend took it upstairs along with a bag of snacks and soda. He asked if he could have some or watch the movies with us. I told him, "Kiddo, this is adult time for my boyfriend and me. Ask your dad to order a pizza." Dean looked like he was going to cry and went back to his apartment. I got a call from the landlord asking for my side of the story, and I explained what had happened. Corey has not spoken to me since that call, other than calling me a snitch. Dean gets picked up in the morning now by his aunt, and spends the day with her instead of around the house. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The kid isn't the a-hole, but his dad 100% is. It's not your responsibility to look after his child, and it's best to establish those boundaries early on. The father is also pretty entitled. What part of no is so difficult for him to understand? Not the a-hole OP. But OP is a woman, and therefore available for childcare at all times. That's exactly what it is. To be honest, I probably would have given him some pizza or made him some pancakes because I love kids, but this isn't her responsibility, and it's good that she set up boundaries. Nope, because that tells Dean I am gonna feed him and take care of him. I am not. Unless the kid is in real trouble, I have no interest doing his dad's job. His dad can order a pizza for his kid or buy pancake mix. Understandable. The entitlement of this guy is ridiculous. You're doing the right thing. I would feed him and then spend the rest of my time dreading every time I went into the kitchen. So good on you. I have experience knowing what one good deed does to punish the Samaritan. Not the a-hole. You are correct to nip this in the bud before it gets out of hand. Corey clearly complained to the landlord that you were not providing free meals and childcare for Dean. Poor Dean is not being taught boundaries are important, and not all adults are available to see to his needs. I think Corey thought that you would give in and treat the communal living situation as being extended family. Corey was trying to force you into caring for Dean. Good on you for not setting a precedent. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.